Hello and welcome to the Alexandra Wenman show. Today I am joined by my guest, spiritual broadcaster Kris Meredith. Thank you, Kris, for being here.
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you for having me as well. So excited to be with you.
Oh, I'm very excited to have you on the show, mate. This is brilliant. So I need to tell my viewers that I've recently connected with Kris through a mutual friend, Anne Scholes.
Of course.
And Kris is a presenter on Psychic Today, but he started his own podcast show called Keep It Spiritual, and it's a really great show. So tell us, Kris, how did you come to create this show?
It's something for me that I've always wanted to do, and it's something that I feel that's kind of missing out there, especially doing, the presenting on Psychic Today. For me, that's great, but you only get like a little smidge of what the kind of world is all about. And I've always been interested in angels, spirits, psychic world, mediums, and it's something that I've kind of delved in a little bit, but never gone like really, really far with it. And I always want to learn. I love learning about this kind of thing. And I just thought, what a better thing. I said, for me to learn, interview people, see how they do it, but then also make a podcast so people can learn.
You're going to throw yourself right into this.
And that's what it is. And that's what it's about. And that's for me, it is. It's for me to learn as well, but also, for people out there to learn. And it's all about spreading that positivity. Because I think especially a podcast is a private kind of thing for people to learn, and I always listen to it like with my earphones in and to de-stress, and I think it's just a perfect place for people to learn and grow spiritually and learn as much as they can. So yeah, that's why I wanted to do it.
I think it's wonderful. Tell us a little bit about your background leading up to this.
Yeah.
So you've been a presenter for a while, haven't you?
I have, but I've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you were an undercover light worker, I think, for a while.
Loads of different things. So, starting off, my first ever job was a super family entertainer with Thompson's when I was 16. So I lived in Greece for a year, entertaining families with Thompson the dog and doing party dances and YMCA and all things like that.
I can see you doing that. That would be hilarious.
It was like my first job, but that job kind of made me grow up because you kind of by yourself as well. It's kind of like when all the shows gone away, you just kind of like, oh, do miss my family and things like that. But it was great to do. Like I said, it did make me grow up. And then after that, done quite a few retail jobs. I worked in skincare, luxury skincare, and then also cabin crew with BA.
Oh wow!
So I did that for a year, but there was something in me, of course, from Thompson that I really wanted to present. And I never knew how someone did that. So at the time I was working in Selfridges, and I was like, how does someone go from that to that? And I used to, where I live in Manchester is an area called Castlefield, and we live right near a radio station. And I always take my Wesley Burt past the radio station, and then people used to be walking in and out, and I'd just be like, how does someone do that? How does someone get there? So I was like, I need to learn more about it. So I went back to university at the age of, so I was 29 when I enrolled. So I went to uni doing broadcast production in TV and radio, and basically learned to present, learn more about kind of everything that there is to do with broadcast there. But for me, I really feel that was the right thing to do, because the broadcast side and the presenting side is something that has always been in me, but then also it's bringing it up to the spiritual side, which right now, like you said, with the Keep It Spiritual podcast and just some of the videos that we've just done, it's kind of joining.
It's bridging at the worlds, isn't it?
You
were so guided into this, though. It's fantastic.
I love it. I just love the energy, and of course, the finance side sometimes can be a bit stressful with partners and things like that. But you've just got to go with it, and trust yourself that it's the right thing to do. And even with yourself, when I interviewed you, learning about you, Alex. For me, that brightened my day.
Aww.
Like straight away, like to interview you, and that kind of puts my vibration up there, and you kind of thinking yourself, I'm doing the right thing.
I was high as a kite on your show.
It's great.
I've been up channeling and getting downloads all night, and then I think I'd had like 3 coffees when I spoke to you. So I was like,
you was ready. You was ready, but I think we was both like that together.
I think we were. I think it's the energy, isn't it? It's so exciting.
So good, so exciting, and that's what it is about. And like for me, I've always followed my heart, and it's people follow their head, and I've always wanted to be happy in what I'm doing. I want to get up in the morning and think, it's going to be a good day, and I want to enjoy my life. And that's what it's about. And some people different, some people are drawn by finances. I've never been. I would always, want a job where I'm happy inside rather than what's in my bank balance. That's just me. That's the way I've always been. So yeah, so we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know where it's going to end or where it's going to lead me. But yeah, it's exciting.
It's got wings. You've got wings in your logo, which I love.
I do. I
right on my page.
I love it.
And I love that you used to fly for a living, darling. I mean, what's better?
Never thought about that. Never thought of it like that. I did for a year in Heathrow in London, and even that job, it was a very proud job to do. Like the training was the hardest thing I'd ever done, because you have to learn like safety equipment procedure on so many different aircraft. It's like, for me, it's like learning a new language. That's what it was, but you're tested on it every day.
Isn't it amazing though, like when you go back over like your life and all the jobs, and I'm sure many of our viewers watching will relate to this, you wonder why you're doing something, and it might seem pointless at the time.
Yep.
But what I've come to learn, and listening to you and all the threads that have led you where you've come, it's like nothing is ever for nothing. There are always little stepping stones on your path guiding you to where you need to be. So even like you passing the radio station, it's dropping little seeds in, isn't it? It's like this little calling that's leading you. But I want to go right back to the beginning now, and I want to ask you about your spiritual journey, because you've obviously been guided into this world for a reason. How did that all start for you?
For me, it was when I was about 15 and 16. I was working in a warehouse. I was doing a bit of part-time work, which wasn't the right job for me, but I met a guy there called Mark, and he started talking about spiritualist churches. And I was kind of like, I'm quite interested. So like mediums go there, and he was like, yeah. He said, do you want to come? So I did. And this is like when I was young, and we started going and just, seeing the mediums, and we started going to meditation and really getting into it like when I was 16, but I went into it too quick and too fast for myself, because I just opened up like boom straight away, and then it was just a little bit too real, and I think I was a bit young, and I was like no, don't want to see anything, don't know what that is, and I just kind of like, okay, bye, and then I went working at Thompson's, then come back, and I went past a crystal shop in Ashton-under-Lyne, and there was music and meditation, and I was always like, okay, I might go back. And it was just a beautiful space, very positive, and I went there for 2 years, but I felt safe. And for me, I did feel safe in that space, and then I opened up again very, very slowly, but really didn't do too much with it, and then concentrate on like normal life, normal work, but it's always been there. It's always kind of, even if I've not done anything with it, for me, that kind of guidance to this kind of life has always been there since the word get-go. And even if I go back further, I remember I was talking to my partner the other day, and I said, I remember when I was playing in my bunk bed, and I used to have my leg dangling down the side, and I thought my sister was in the room because someone was pulling my leg, and then I was like, Gemma, get off my leg, and she was just like, no, I'm not in the room, I'm in my room. I was like, no, you're not, and then she walked, and I was like, what?
Real physical
and things like that. I remember. So, but nothing's ever been scary or anything. It's just me personally thinking, am I ready for this? And when I was younger, it was there, but I wasn't ready. And that's why going through as many, I think, jobs that I've done, they've always been with people as well, but it's always about kind of caring and looking after people and that communication. I love people. I always have. I mean, I used to get in trouble for speaking to people too much, but that's just who I am and what I like to do. And
never change that.
I would never change that.
That's amazing. Like, we need to speak to each other more.
Yeah, and that's it. And you do. And like in retail environments, you're talking too much. You need to be doing this and doing that, and you're like,
yeah, but people are not stupid. People can tell when you're just blatantly selling to them,
of course
right?
They can.
You want to get to know people.
Of course you do. That's what it's all about.
I failed at retail. I failed miserably at retail because I just wanted to chat to people too. And be
You do.
I also failed in the celebrity work. So you and I have also a bit of a similar background in the media background in the celebrity world, right?
We definitely do.
I used to be celebrity party girl for Now Magazine. And tell it, because you used to do a radio show, didn't you, about Australian music?
Yeah, Aussie Hour, yeah. And I still, that's always there. I've never been to Australia, but I've always had a connection with it.
Your soul has.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I went to uni, and there was like, you need to do a radio show, and it has to be something a little bit different. So I was like, okay, I want to do an Australian radio show. And she was like, what? And I was like, there's so many people in Australia, so much great artists, and my love of Delta Goodrem, of course. with it. Of course, love Delta. And I was like, well, I want to do an Australian radio show. And I started at uni, and my first goal, and I remember the producer, because we was new and I had to get produced then for the first year, and she was like, what do you want to achieve out of this? So I was like, I want to interview Delta Goodrem. And never in a million years would I ever thought that would happen. Just, a little university radio station, probably not that many listeners, and things like that. But throughout the 3 years of building it, I interviewed, there was Dami Im, so she's an Australian Korean. She came second in Eurovision for Australia as well. Beautiful singer, beautiful voice. And then through her, then there was Samantha Jade. She's kind of a little bit like Kylie, beautiful voice, great music. And I was a little bit cheeky.
I'm like, I haven't heard of any of these people. I've been in the
You're
UK
Australian.
too long. I'm supposed to be Australian.
So good, so good. But then from that, I was like, they're managed by the same people that manages Delta. I'll be a bit cheeky, I'll put email out there. And then I did, and then nothing come back for about 6 months. And then I just got a random email saying that, Delta seen your email, should love to do an interview, are you free tomorrow?
Oh,
and that was at like 10 o'clock.
That's a good Aussie girl. I'm proud of her, very proud of her for doing that.
So
That's
good
a
to
very
do.
kind person,
And it really, really is. And
she didn't need to do that. That's so lovely.
No, and she didn't. And for me, that meant more than just an interview or anything like that, because I was very nervous, obviously, because a lot of things can go wrong with a telephone interview in the radio studio, and I was like, please let it all go okay. And it was just perfect.
Have you still got a copy of the interview?
Yeah, I do.
I'll put a link below so people can listen. I'd love to hear your interview with
so good,
Delta.
so good. And when I finished the interview, I was like, if I was ever to get married to my partner, I was like, would you come and sing at our wedding? And she was like, yeah, of course I would. I was like, right, better record.
Oh my god, you've got it locked in.
I've got it.
My
so
god. I don't know if she knows Kylie. Can she put a word in for me?
I'm
I'm already married though. I'm gonna have to renew my vows.
Oh well, we'll get it sorted, babe. We'll get it sorted. So good, so positive though, and I always think, things like that, like with Delta, that was a gift.
Yeah.
Like to me, because that meant so much, and I will remember that forever. Like no one can take it away, and it was just a really magical thing to happen when it's just a student radio station, and that kind of thing just doesn't happen like every day.
And it's like Spirit wanted you to experience that, so that these little things are like nuggets, aren't they, for our future? Like you can use that energy then in future to manifest what you need for the next level of your journey.
Yeah.
So with the current show, Keep It Spiritual, where do you see it going? What do you want to do with this?
For me, I want it to be a new platform of positivity and a spiritual broadcast, but like This Morning magazine show, but all about spiritual stuff that we all love. So crystals, angels, mediums, everything. People, you're interested in it, I love it, you love it. There's a massive hunger out there for it, and why isn't it on normal TV yet? I do not know why.
This is what this show is about too.
Of course.
We need to normalise these conversations, not change or dumb down our language, but bring this more and more into the mainstream.
Of course, and
it's working, isn't it?
And it really is. And this is the thing but what you're doing and what I'm trying to do, you're raising the vibration, and it's positive. And I think, if you watch some of the shows, it's not really the best thing maybe to start your day with.
Yeah.
And I think that you start your day with a little meditation, so you talk about crystals, you talk about angels, someone's then going about the normal day, they'll be like, oh, Alex said this, Alex said that. You could just kind of spark that light in someone else, and for me that's important to do. So, and I've worked a bit with production companies and kind of know little things from the inside, but for me it's kind of like, I know behind the scenes, I know in front of the scenes, and now I want to take it further. So I don't know where it's going to go, but I'm enjoying it and I'm loving it, and obviously speaking to people like you has just been a dream.
It's awesome. I'm so pleased. I think the more of this stuff that's out there, the better. I think we're spreading light, we're spreading the conversation, we're opening the topics up for people.
And that's it, and it should be open, and that's the thing. And even like when I was growing up, it wasn't open. I mean, my uncle, I'm called Kris Meredith, and my uncle is called Kris Meredith, but his with a C, mine's with a K.
Oh.
He's in San Diego, but Kriss has been a medium for over 30 years.
Wow.
So it's always been
it's
in my
the
family. Yeah, it's always been in the family. But even Kriss didn't feel open enough to stay in the UK back then, like 30 years ago, really, or probably longer, 40 years ago.
California is very open, isn't it?
He moved over there, and then he obviously still does what he does, and that's that. But it's like now, it's like 2020. Speak about it. It's positive. There's nothing bad about it. I love it. I love, that you love it, and everyone that we meet, and of course in the show that we do, you can't talk about too many things. And I'm always a bit like, want to know more what you
That's
do.
right. You're quite restricted on the
Yes.
telly, aren't you? So there's certain words and phrases you can't use and topics you can't really delve in, can you?
So here, you can go crazy.
So this is great. So on your platform, you've got free reign.
You can say
to talk about
anything. You can say medium.
Medium.
Without anyone having a meltdown.
Medium, tarot, angels, we can
That's
talk
the
about it
thing,
all.
but all that's what people want to know about, and even like me as well. It's like kind of difference between a psychic and a medium. You can't even say that.
Wow.
It's just psychic, and that's what it is.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And there's so many different nuances.
Of course, there, there is. But it's, you know what I mean. It is one of them. But I think we're helping to raise it, and I'm sure it's going to be a very exciting path.
It's exciting. So, what about your personal journey? Are you going to throw yourself back into like developing your mediumship?
Yes.
I thought you might.
Yes, I am.
You're being called, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, because being at the psychic today and working, with so many outstanding psychics and mediums that are there, it's kind of like it's a bit of a sign in front of me every night, like just kind of like, hello, we're here, this is how you do it. And that's, for me, it's kind of like, right, I need to take the hint, and that's what it's all about. And I went to Salford Spiritualist Church last week. I asked Kriss, and he was like, go to that one, and I went to it, and it was beautiful, and I got a message, and the first thing the medium said, he was like, why are you not on platform? Why are you not here? Why are you there? And so many people say that, and I know that.
See, I think you're more than a medium. I think you're a channel. I think there's a lot more that's going to come through you, and very angelic energy.
I've always been connected with angels as well. It is, and that's the thing. I mean, for me, I don't know what it is.
Sorry to read you on
camera. No, do not worry. You've
got sparkles of light going off around you, boy. I can't miss it.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. But things like that for me mean so much, because it's so positive, and it's just what my being and what I am is all about as a person. I just love feeling good. It's what we live for, and it's what we should be living for, especially at the moment with everything going on. It's like that light should be shining even brighter, and for me that's important. So I'm definitely opening up and meditating more, and just kind of going to see where it goes really with it. But I definitely am open, and I've tried to have like conversations like, yep, I'm ready, and that's really as far as I've got. But I'm definitely gonna start developing more and trying to do more with it, really, as well as the broadcast side. So it's kind of gonna be developing myself, doing the broadcast side, see where it goes.
It's amazing. Well, this is why I think you worked for BA. So now you the travel thing. You're obviously going to be traveling the world with this. I think. Yeah. It's all coming up. It's amazing.
Exciting.
So it's very timely. Because of what's going on the planet right now. So should we open up the conversation and let's just have a chat about what's your thoughts about what is going on this planet right now? It's a big topic, I know, but I love to ask my guests this question, because so many of us are aligned with it and being called to action.
I mean, I just feel that, especially when 2020 came, it was like, okay, you've done working on yourself, boom, now it's time to do it. It's just like the vibration just went boom, straight away, and you can feel it. And like for myself as well, you can feel it every day. And even with me, it's the most important thing for me to do this year, and that's like, you put it to the side before, and maybe work's more important, you need to find a normal job, but for me it's kind of like, no, I need to develop, I need to work on myself. That's the most important thing, and really do something with what I've got, because there's so many years and I kind of think, I could have done something when I was 16 and 17, but I was like, I wasn't ready then, it wasn't the right time. I had to go through all the things I went through to bring me here. And that's not a bad thing. I had to do that. I had to go through that. But that will only make me better and stronger, and hopefully a better communicator when I'm older and going through my journey, and things you can pull from, I think, as well. And so many different people you meet, and when you do your normal jobs, like you were saying before, you kind of think, why am I doing that? Don't want to do that. But just think, well, you're doing it for a reason. You don't know what the bigger picture is yet, and just go with it and go through it and trust it. That's what it's about. But I think this year, very exciting, especially for me, but for many people out there as well. I just think a lot of people are awakening up. And that's where you come in as well.
A lot of people, I find, presently, as a collective, we're being kicked out of our comfort zones. My throat goes when I talk about that, because I'm also being kicked out of my comfort zone again. Now, it's not... This is one thing I've learned about the awakening journey, is that it's never linear. well, for some people it might be linear. For me, it wasn't linear. It's been like this.
Yeah.
And most people I know, it's been like that. It's not usually comfortable. For me, the biggest thing has been coming out of the spiritual closet. So really facing those fears of being judged and all of that. And I know that many of my viewers have also been through that. And now as a collective on the earth plane, globally, we're being kicked out of our comfort zone because there's a heck of a lot of shadowy stuff, truth rising to the surface of the collective, and everyone going, hang on a minute, these people that we thought we could trust are not trustworthy anymore. And, you know, even in the spiritual community, we're seeing that. Some very famous healers and teachers now coming out, and there's all kinds of like sexual abuse allegations. So I think that the message in this is really important, and this is what I teach, and I know this is what you're about too, Kris, with your show, is to always follow your heart and your way, and don't put your power or your authority outside of yourself onto another person. It's like the other person isn't better or greater than you, and they might have good advice. Like we have so many healers and people rising on the planet, and so many topics to discuss that, you know, a lot of people come out going, well, my advice is the best advice. True to a point. If it resonates with you, follow that advice. But more and more I think we're being tested what is right for me, and there are many, many roads to enlightenment, and not every road will be right for you. So I always think this is why I want to talk about all of it, so that people are the most informed that they can be, to then decide what path is right for them, and always be really discerning. Like I'm finding more and more that, you know, the deeper I guess I go into this journey, the more my body tells me what I need to do, even when my logical brain can't rationalize what the body wants me to do. So if I'm about to make the wrong decision, my body is almost like a lightning rod, and it will instantly go and like constrict, and there might be anxiety or something. Like your emotions become a great compass and a great tool. And then if I'm about to make a decision that I would never normally make, and it's really going out of my comfort zone, but my body's so relaxed, so it's like, oh, that's the way I'm being guided to go this time. And it's so good because it's breaking through old patterns, like old habits and patterns that we would normally follow. So like you getting, you know, the kick to go and do the university radio degree, the broadcast degree.
And that was it.
That's it. You broke through a comfort wall, didn't
But you do it, and it is. And I think, you know, you saying there as well, it's always about, you know, checking in.
Yes.
I find it so important because, I mean, especially like entertainment industry, any place where you work, it's noisy.
Yeah.
So many different personalities, people trying to put their traits on you, what you should be doing. And I think now more than ever, take away all that, take it back, and rediscover who you are as a person, and what you really want. And that's, for me, it's kind of like really taking it back to where would I be happiest. You know, where is the best place for me? It's not, you know, having loads of money in the bank or anything like that. Like for me, it's doing things like this. Like this for me is like gold, because I've done something useful with my time. I've learned something. We've done something positive for other people. So for me, that's a big thing. And you know, many people out there that are kind of reevaluating, is this right? Actually, maybe not. Or kind of thinking, being in a relationship, don't trust them anymore. There's definitely a shift for people, but it's kind of, you know, it's for people to realise that and wake up, and it takes a lot to move on from, as you know, past, you know, relationships and everything like that. It takes so much for people to kind of leave that behind, because it's what we know, it's where we comfy. You know, it's okay to stay in this, it's all right, but it's not the best for you. And I think once you've been brave enough to break free, and you know, it isn't great, we're not sugarcoating it, you know, some things are hard to go through, and they really are, but they make us stronger, better people. When you look back, you kind of think, so glad I did that, so glad I did that. And you're kind of a bit more of a wiser, bigger person for going through what people have gone through. So at the moment, yes, everything is shifting, but just don't be scared. And like you were saying, you know, check in and just go with yourself and what feels right, because you know,
commit to you, right?
Yeah,
commit to your path and your purpose. I think also we've got an opportunity here because I know that neither you and I are shrinking violets.
No, we're not. No, not at all.
We're both very chatty catties, and I think we both like being, out in the world and speaking to people and on camera and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're both, I trained in speech and drama from the age of 4, so we're very similar. So I feel like to say to people watching this, if you feel a call to step out, don't be afraid to do it, because you do get certain people that are more comfortable behind the scenes, but you do get people who actually have a calling to be out in front of an audience or on camera or out in front shining, and you shouldn't apologize for that, for wanting to follow that calling. Yeah, we get in the world people who do this tall poppy thing. In Australia, we call it the tall poppy syndrome, right? If someone's doing well, we like to shoot them down.
Yep.
Not me personally, but this is
what
what
which
happens.
people do, and it's the same thing over here. I mean, they like to build people up, but as soon as they're there, how can we get them down?
Pull them back down
Yeah,
again.
and it's just not.
It's an incredible thing that humanity does. Like, it can be quite vicious, and especially I'm seeing it amongst women as well. Like, the minute you go, no, I'm committing to me, and you just sort of stay in your lane. It's like a horse race. Stay in your lane and focus on your goal. There's so many people that will come in and try and trip you up.
But do you think because they're jealous of that power that you've got, but everybody's got it within them? This is the thing, it's not.
But I also think it's the test.
Yeah,
I think
of
it's
course.
the ultimate initiation. Yeah. Will you go on committing to your path and your purpose and yourself, even with naysayers and people who are envious and people who are trying to drag you down or tell you that you're not in your integrity?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is, as long as you know that you are in your integrity and that you're following your guidance and your intention is not to hurt anyone, keep going. Yeah. That's what I want to say to people like
keep going. And that's the thing, because there's always going to be those people, naysayers, people that do want to drag you down to their level. But the thing is, you're rising, you're moving up. So that's only going to be a good thing. It's only going to be a positive thing. It's all full of light. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, but like you were saying as well about, in Australia and here with media, they do drag people down, but the things that we're doing, nothing like that at all. So what we're doing should be mainstream.
It should be.
And that's how it should be. Like, in my mind, in the future, that's how it will be. There should be an Angel show on Sky One. There should be, an Alexandra and Wenman show on BBC One in the morning. Do you know?
Yes, there should
Should be.
BBC, if you're listening.
Definitely ITV, Channel 4. It should be, because, it's a very positive way. And changing personally for us, yes, but I think the outlook in the media landscape, it will change as well.
I think
it will follow suit.
Doing our bit,
definitely, and I think it will. And I just want it to go more mainstream, so that's why we're doing what we're doing.
And what's been your biggest challenge so far in all of this?
For me, going to university.
Wow.
That was the biggest thing for me personally and professionally, because I stopped working a full-time job.
Wow.
So, like I said, I was manager of skincare concession and a good wage and obviously good career perspective and all that kind of stuff. I was very secure within that, but I just knew it wasn't what it really following my heart and what I really wanted to do. And I'd done well with the counter. It'd done more than it was gold to do, but it was just kind of like, I either do what I want to do now or I don't do it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And I went home. It was in I think February, March time. Went home, just Googled presenting courses, because I thought, I don't know enough about it. I want to know more about it. Just Googled it. Came up University of Chester. It was like broadcast presenting and production for TV and radio. Brand new course, starts in September. But I was like, they're not going to let me go because I'm old. You know what I mean? I wasn't that older, but I was mature student, as they say. So I was 29 when I applied for it. But I was like, they're not going to let me go there. They're going to want younger kids and things like that. But I applied. Qualification, just normal GCSEs, nothing sparkly right there. But I got in. I got accepted. And I was just like March time, I was like, okay, this is getting real now. I was like, what am I going to tell my partner? And I didn't tell him until we went away in the August when I was in Greece. And I just left on the bed my acceptance letter. And he just came in and was like, well, what's this? And I was like, oh, just read it. And then he read it and he was just like, you're going to university. He was like, but Paul's very black and white. Mm-hmm. I'm not, Paul. But you need that balance in a relationship. He's like, what about bills? What about this? What about that?
Like my husband, Tony.
That's what
very
he is.
Grounded. Yeah. He's your anchor, right?
He is, and I need that. And I mean, without Paul, I couldn't have done what I've done. And I did take a big risk because he could have been like, not supporting you.
How long was
see you
the
later.
course?
3 years.
3 years, so it's a proper full degree.
Yeah, full year. So yeah,
Amazing.
BA honours, got 2-1 as well. So I was happy with it, and that's why, like, for me, it was very important to do something that I wanted to do with it, because I didn't just want to go and work at the BBC. Didn't want to go and work ITV. I've always been interested in spiritual side, and I wanted to do stuff in uni, but my tutor wouldn't let me because she said the examiners might not like it, and I was like, ugh. So it's always been there, kind of bubbling. But then it was like when I finished uni, which I did last year, I graduated in November in 2019, and then it's just kind of come naturally. But Psychic Today came straight away.
Wow.
So I finished university last year in June, and then Psychic Today came in July.
Wow.
And yeah, and that's obviously the great training ground, because it's live TV without, you know, a presenter
access
there.
to all these amazing people you can interview. I mean, what more could you ask?
It's great. Yeah. And about, you know, the subject that I love.
Yeah.
So it's strange how things work out sometimes, because
or not so
or
strange.
not. Or not. And it is it's, you know, so fascinating to think about it, and you know that I spend some nights working with psychics talking about what they do, and it's lovely to think about it. But then, like what you do, and you know, with the Keep It Spiritual podcast, finding more and getting, you know, it's more of a deeper level of what people do, and it's so fascinating.
It's wonderful because we can share some people as well.
So
and send
good.
more people
we
way.
can do big time. But I just think, you know, we're very privileged to do, you know, what we do, but everybody can do it as well, and that's the thing. Everyone's got that light in them. Yeah. It's just, you know, up to them if they want to do something about it. And I'm sure, you know, this year many more people will be going into healing and, you know, Reiki, everything like that will be raising themselves. And even people in my family that have never had readings before, never been kind of bothered about, you know, angels, anything, have come to me and said, oh, do you recommend anyone? Or, you know, I'm just at that time in my life where I would like a reading or a bit of guidance. And so
you're like, well, I can, darling.
And that's it, of course. You can send them to Anne's Goals. Of course, I do. I've sent about 4 people to Anne with it, because she is fabulous. Go and check her out as well with it. But I just
No, you can do it.
I've never done it.
You can do it.
I've never done it, and that's the thing. Like for me, like you were saying, you know, like, you know, working on yourselves and kind of being taken out of your comfort zone. That for me, like when I see, you know, psychics working with the oracle cards, tarot decks, and, you know, linking in, and then my mind, like I'm just sat there, just like watching them, and I'm just kind of like, how are they doing what they're doing? And for me, it's so interesting, and I do love it. But that's what I've got to work on myself, because I do meditate. Like I try. I don't do it enough. Honestly, I try and do at least 30 minutes a week. With I had to buy a CD player because I didn't have a CD player on a CD. Seriously, I got that because I had.
Can you still buy them? They're a bit vintage now.
They are. I was like, I want a CD player. I love my CDs with it. So, and I was like, right, good to meditate, but it is difficult sometimes with a Westie. Because where I go, Bert wants to go.
Oh my God, animals love it.
And I'm just like, okay, you have your treat Kong, and then I'll go meditate, but then he's like, where's Daddy? Where's Dad?
Oh.
And then so I'm like, right, come on the bed, relax. He'll just go to sleep, and then I'll just meditate and go in my space. But when I go into that space, I just see colours, beautiful colours, and then obviously when you don't look but you do look, you see faces, and then you feel bits and bobs all around you, and I love it. I love that space. It's a beautiful space, and when you do moving higher Reiki and you go wherever we go, and I never want to come back.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's so beautiful. But it's so the vibration and the level is all about love.
Yeah.
And it is, and that's why, like, for me, I'm always like, don't want to come back. I'm like, no, especially if I'm having Reiki. It's like, Kris, you need to come back now.
Escapism.
You need to come back now. And I'm like, nope, I'm staying up here. I'm staying where I want. Like, come back. And that's what it is, and that's for me why it's important for us doing what we're doing, because we're trying to bring that light
we're bringing
down
that
here.
Exactly.
And it is important. So yeah, it's magical, it's beautiful, and the journey for me, you know, it's only beginning.
Oh, Kris, you're such an inspiration, mate.
Thank you.
Brilliant, and you've got such amazing positive energy.
Thank you.
He's great. I feel like I've been really lifted up this morning. It's
Good.
amazing.
This is the thing as well. I just want, you know, people to know, like myself as well. I do struggle sometimes with self-confidence. You do, you know, if you get something wrong, especially on the show, if I've said a word wrong on my first ever show, I was kind of chucked in, so it was like I'm trying to take everything in with it. But I couldn't say. There's a psychic called Enchantment. I could not say her name. I kept saying, I think it was Enhancement. I just kept saying, but because I was so worked up, and everything. And I knew, obviously, you cannot not say her name when she's next to you.
Enhancement. But that's actually a really good name.
I did. And then I remember like 2 shows after, I was like, I'm so sorry. I said your name wrong like all night. She was like, oh, I didn't realise. I was like, what? Like kicking myself. But things like
Maybe
that.
She's forgotten what she's called.
I think hopefully she has. But with things, like everything you see with ourselves, we still struggle with things, don't we? And like self-confidence for me and believing in myself, those 2 things for me are the things I need to work on, because it is just having that, confidence within myself to believe I can do it.
You can.
Yeah, and that's it. And I know I can, but it's just me telling myself and me truly believing, I can do it. And
well, I'm really glad you do, because you telling yourself you can do it means you are doing it, which means more people have permission to do it for themselves.
And that's it. And that's what it's all about.
Brilliant.
It is, because we're all human at the end of the day. We all have, human feelings and things like that, and we do get down and bits, but it's all about, rising to the top and keep going.
Keep going.
No matter what, keep going. It is marching on.
It is.
It is. That's a good song from Damien. She's Australian as well.
I'm gonna have to get some tips off him for this Aussie music.
You will do.
Really
so good. So I'm like, when I get your Spotify thing at the end of the year, like it says like, oh, you listen to alternate music. I'm like, it's Australian music.
It's Australian, mate. It's probably
so
the mainstream out there.
So good. But Samantha Jade, who Australian, she is so strange. 1 year she came to Manchester.
Oh.
And so I live in Castlefield, and there's like the Hilton Hotel is there, and then she was there, and I was like, I cannot not come and see you when you're in my city. So I did an interview and met her. It was the first time when I interviewed her, and she was like, you know my songs. And I was like, I love your songs.
She must have been so
great.
surprised.
And she's like, oh my god, because she was, I think, there was Keith Duffy out of Boyzone and Brian McFadden out of Westlife. They did a Boys Life tour, and she was supporting them.
Oh wow.
And it was just, and I was just like, and she was like, no one knows who I am. I was like, I do. I know everything about you. It's so good, but it's always just been a bit of a passion project for me.
Is she quite spiritual?
I think they all are to a certain degree, and I
you
think
have to be
Australia is.
Yeah.
Is
Australia definitely
yeah,
is. Yeah,
I do. I get that link with it. I will definitely go over one day, because the connection for me is definitely there. But I just will go.
Oh, you'll be over speaking and presenting and doing everything. You'll be there, darling. We'll do it.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Big time.
Amazing.
Oh, love it.
I love it. So, Kris, can you tell people how they can find you? How can they listen to Keep It Spiritual?
Yeah, so you can see me. So first I've got a website, so it's just www.krismeredith.com. You can go there, or the Keep It Spiritual podcast is on iTunes, or it's on SoundCloud as well. And of course, we do have a YouTube page that's come in, so within that'll be the Keep It Spiritual. Just search for that, and there will be a video on there as well. Or you can just search Kris Meredith, and there's all my other bits and bobs. So all my Aussie interviews are on there. You've got Psychic Today bits and bobs, and also we've just done a video with Soul and Spirit with the lovely editor right there.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
well,
so
I'll share all the links
Rosalind
below too, so when you're watching the video you can just click in the comments below, and all Kris's info will be down there. It is Kris with a K.
It is.
Just to...
A little bit different. And the reason why that came in was strange as well, because it was going to be, my mum wanted Kyle and my dad wanted Kriss. So they compromised. And that's how you got Kris with a K.
That's like my sister. My sister's Alicia, but spelled Alicia.
Lovely.
And I think Dad wanted Alice, and Mum wanted Lucia. So they combined, got Alicia.
Beautiful name.
Hi Lou,
beautiful.
if you're watching.
Beautiful name you've got.
But we still called her Lou, because my mum wanted a Lulu. It's so funny.
She's got her own way.
She got her own way. I love it. So Kris with a K, and I'll put all the links below. Thank you so much for talking to me today,
pleasure.
honey.
It's been a dream. It's been an absolute dream. Thank you. Gotta give you a hug.
I know, definitely. Oh, amazing.
Thank you,
and
sweetie.
just for everyone, thank you so much for watching and for joining us on the Alexandra Wenman Show. Do check out Keep It Spiritual podcast, and thank you for watching.
Check out this girl. Mwah. Bye.